Hi, and welcome to Kairos, the time travel game. My name is Bob Ocean, and I'm the designer of the game. And in this series of videos, I'm going to run through a particular round. So I'll explain things as things go along, but it depends what actually happens in the game, and I'll explain what's going on. But before we start, I've set up a game. Now it's 1 to 4 players, so you can play it solo against you're up. All players are actually up against Kronos. So you've got someone who's playing against it. So it's semi-cooperative. So basically the way it works is there are three end conditions basically. So you clear all your blots. This is all explained in the rules, and I've got a set of rules somewhere, where if you clear all your blots and in the positive timeline, then the game ends immediately, and then all players who've got their blots cleared are possible winners, and the person who's got the most Kairos will be the winner. So there is a winner, but the team's got to win collectively. But if it's in the negative timeline at the end of the game, at the singularity, then Kronos wins. But there's a third alternative, which is fairly rare, where it's a positive timeline, but no player has cleared all their blots. So it's basically the game wins. Kronos doesn't win, players don't win. So that's the winning condition for the game, and it's 1 to 4. So you can play it solo against automated players. Now then, under the basic setting, you can't get any automated players, but and this is what I'm going to show you first. Then I'm going to show you the more advanced version. But under the advanced, you'll see you can select automated players, and there's two different types. There's the alphas and then there's the betas. So you can have one alpha, one beta. The alphas are slightly stronger, but I'm going to do this demonstration based on the basic game and 2 human players. All right, so should we start? And the first option is a game preferences option, so you can actually alter player preferences. Now these are actually part of the board game arena, but I built it up in a little options screen here so you can actually see it. Now I've got the UI scale 100% because I've got on a big screen, but on the if you have a small screen, you can actually shrink the user interface scale. Don't bother with confirmations before traveling because but you can actually have a confirmation system. I've also enabling customization during the game. I'm going to be male in this case. These are based on the board game arena gender settings that you did when you set up your profile, but you can change it for the game if you wish. The team personalization is on, and then the chronovision. Now chronovision is quite a handy scheme whereby you can find the probabilities based on the Monte Carlo system of time traveling and recovery if you need to be. It's kind of like a help. And then because it's basic, we've got medium difficulty, 14 rounds, which depends on the number of players. We've got all human players. The game length is standard, and then these things are switched off. The debug's going to go when I go to production. And then the two other advanced game options are the Easter egg and time traveling dinosaurs. So you change your name here. That will default in from your board game arena name. You can choose colours. I've got here blue, and I can be either. And then we've got end scoring cards, which at this stage I won't explain them. Basically, you can get 3 per card, some extra points at the end of the game if you have nerfed those particular artifacts. So we confirm the team, and when both players have confirmed, now the other one has decided to be female, so you get to see what it looks like. And you start off as a young man or a young woman. There are your agents. There's your Kairos count, which is 0 when it starts. Now the second player gets 1 Kairos, just to sort of indicate that it's got little bit more to do. Now the first player is playtest 1, player 1, which I've called playtest 1. And you get, there's 12 agents altogether across all of the things. So if there are 4 players, you'll have 3 agents, 3 teams of agents actually. But with 2 players, you get 6. With 3 players, you'll get 4. And if it's solo, you'll get 12, unless of course you've got an automator, in which case if you've got another automator and yourself as solo, either 2 players, you'll get 6 agents each. And then the Time Lords. Now the Time Lords are these bigger ones with crowns, and they've got better abilities. And the naming convention is T for Time Lord, 1 for player 1, Alpha, that's the Alpha team, that's the Bravo team. Now when it's an ordinary agent, it just says A1 Charlie, and it tells you whereabouts the agent is, because we all start at the HQ. So what you do is you select your agent either from here or from here. We'll actually do the same thing. So off we go. Oh, before I start, I must explain the bit at the top here, which is, this is the timeline, which is -2, but it's also repeated there. There's quite a bit of repeating going on in the game, so don't worry about that. It starts off negative, and the paradox is 2. Now, anytime you want to find out what's been going on, the history of these things, you can click on it, but of course there's nothing been done yet. So now the teams gives you a list of the teams, and Kronos, the quantum AI god machine. So there you go, that's what that is. The singularity tells you that we're in round 1, and a bit of a summary and what's happening. We'll go and have a look at that at the end of a round. What I'm going to do is complete this video up to the end of the round, so both players will have to take their turns, then Kronos will take its turn, and then we'll see what the end of the round is, and then I'll finish this video, and then round 2 will be in the next video. So, and over here we've got Chronovision, which that switch is on. If you've got someone selected and you've got it switched on, you'll get this is Chronovision down here, and then finally over here you've got your preferences again, just in case you want to change them. Right, so let's go and choose an agent, which I always choose the Time Lords first because they're the easiest to do. You click on the options of actions are down here. That if you look at it, there was time traveling or skip. Most you obviously don't want to skip things, so I'm going to time travel to Uranus in 2124 AD in the future, because all the crystals, mostly you find them in the future. So now then, when you're time traveling, you have some information up here. This is your starting place. You can see a detailed log of the dice, and you can get Chronovision as well if you wish, and this tells you it's 84% probable that I'll get there. Right, and then in order to get there, I've got to get these chevrons switched into my Stargate, basically. So that's your base time. You've got to get a 1, roll a 3, a 5, and a 6, and you've got a whole lot of dice to do it. So you get 4 dice basically, which is based on the direction, either going past the future. Are you going off planet, which you are in this particular case? And then the ring has an effect because you've got, I'll cancel this, you can see the rings. So this is the outer ring, and these are counted as adjacent to the HQ. Then you've got the inner ring, so that's ring 0, ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, and then the HQ is actually on ring 4. So let's go back. We're going to go and time travel to Uranus. So there you go. And he did it in one go. So basically what happened here was he rolled 2 wiles, which converted to those 2 chevrons. You got the base time came up. You've got a skull, but only with 2 skulls is there a problem with time travel. And the hazard kicked off a positive. If you look down there, you can see it, and that means there was an aging issue, but it only affects you on 1 or 2. And then I'm going to start the recovery process for you. Recover crystals. So now that I'm on Uranus, I've got to find the crystal, and for that I need a cyber team, a medical team, a psychic team, and security. So, and then these are my dice that I have. I have 5 dice and a Time Lord dice. Time Lord dice is really handy because it's got a lot of wilds on it. It's all explaining the rules, what the dice faces are. So I only needed 1 roll. You have up to 4 rolls, but I got it straight away and it's been put into my inventory. Now the inventory for Time Lords is 3, for ordinary agents is only 2. So I've completed the turn for the Time Lord. Now the Time Lords can travel and recover in the same turn. They've got this sort of extra ability, but an ordinary agent, if we do one of those, like Charlie team, I will select Charlie and send him off to this place here. Now he doesn't have the Time Lord, so it's a little bit harder for him. If you look at the Kronos, it's 82%. Well, it's still very good odds because you've got the adjacency dice, and that's very handy because that cancels out skulls. Now then, we've got 2 skulls. And what happens to 2 skulls is that basically the time travel's failed and you'll get an event. Although in this particular case, we've got the Norkarov self-consistency event, your team is able to apply the Norkarov self-consistency principle. Now, you might want to, it's actually a real principle that someone called Norkarov, which is a Russian scientist, came up with. And if you apply it, you can reduce a blot, which is really good because you need to reduce your blots, or you don't apply. So in this particular case, I think I'm going to apply it. Actually, this particular one is pretty obvious. That's the only option that's worth doing. And because it doesn't have any skulls there, it's not going to end the time travel. So you can have another roll. And he's arrived at Atlantis. But it doesn't have the bonus action, so next turn it can pick up the crystal. All right, off we go with time travel for B. And for this one, I'm going to pick up... Oh, by the way, it's best to get a lot of crystals, although there's a problem with getting a lot of crystals early on because it gets easier for Kronos to steal artifacts if all the players have got lots of crystals. So by the fact of me going out there and picking up the crystals is a good thing from my perspective, but it'll mean there'll be an awful lot of stealing going on by Kronos, which we'll come to at the end. Now then, what's happened here is that we've actually succeeded in the time travel, but we've caused time sickness. So next turn, this particular agent will have to spend this turn recovering from time travel sickness. So he's going to go and pick up the... we're on to turn. I've just pressed it too quickly. So what happened here, Time Lord was able to, it's wild basically, it was able to cover the fact that it was missing. So on the second roll, if we look here, we can see the first roll didn't quite achieve it because it needed to get... and there's the locking. I don't know if you can read this, but when it's in brackets, it means it's locked. So we got what we needed, which is M, C, and there must have been a wild, which would have been the psychic ability to get to find the crystal. Yes, it went to psychic. It tells you even there. Right, so we've actually got the Jacinth crystal. So off we've got 3 more teams to do. So it's suggested I go pick up an item. Now the items, again, it had a time travel effect, but nothing happened. It got to New York to see in 1895, because in New York there's the Maltese Falcon. The Maltese Falcon needs to go to the Bermuda Triangle. Now then, restoring items is handy to do because you get some Kairos, but also you reduce your blots, where guarding artifacts doesn't reduce blots, but getting crystals do. But the crystal rewards are only given when you get the crystal back to the HQ, and then they become activated, ready to alter the timeline. Because I haven't explained how you shift the timeline. The timelines shift positive with crystals and negative with artifacts, and the items don't actually affect the timeline. What they do is affect paradoxes, and the more there's paradoxes, the singularity is likely to reduce. Basically, you have to roll two d6 dice, or basically that's how the randomness works, and come up with a number below the paradox, below or equal to the paradox. So at this level, there's a very low chance of the singularity reducing, which reduces max rounds actually. So here we go. We're doing quite well here actually. We haven't had any major disasters with our time travel. You can get lost in time or sent to jail. Now then, we're going to go there, pick up another crystal. Now then, 2 skulls has meant that we've hit another time travel event, which is this one, the outer bound. This is another particular magical item you need when you're actually connecting to the time stream. You have what's called an outer bound teletracer. It's a real thing. And it breaks down, you see. So basically, if you fix it, you're going to gain 2 experience, or on 3 or 4 nothing happens, but they get the thing then, or you miss a turn, or ignore the fact that it's bust. And then basically you're only going to lose out, but you could get lost in time because basically your time navigation system's broken down. So I think I'm going to give a fix. Rolled 5, 6, fail, so I missed the next turn. Messed up. So there you go. So I can still keep on going. Well, because that was a missed the turn and 2 travel, I'm afraid the time travel failed. Can happen. And there it is, it says we'll miss next turn. So my last one to do is Foxtrot, and it's going to go to, now under Chronovision will tell you particular options you can choose. So item restore, there isn't any ones that I've got here, little slider. So it's only had a 28% chance. So on a 30% chance, it got rid of anything that was really very low likelihood of winning, of getting there. So the options which look quite good would be to go off and guard an artifact with Nefertiti's amulet in Kairos Palace in 1330 BC. But also at that location has got 2 items which would be handy to pick up. So I think I'll see if I can get to the Pharaoh's Palace, which is ring 3. So here it is, it's down there. So I'm going to time travel to the Pharaoh's Palace. And off we go, there it is. And it shows you the 3 items that are there, the timing. You can see the Chronovision, and you can see that it's a 73% chance of getting there because it isn't a Time Lord, but it is adjacent in the sense of HQ is being ring 4 is adjacent to ring 3. And then the recovery chance is the slight difference between the different. This one gives you better Kairos and blots, but is only 60% chance of recovery, slightly less. So I think I will go there for roll 1. I picked up 2 wilds, which is nice. There you go, and it's sort of filled in possible uses of the wild. We've actually got the base time set up, and but we haven't got the 6, which is the ring, I think. Yeah. Now then, we did hit the time travel, the time hazard. 1 or 2, you get time sickness. So again, this is going to miss the turn, which is going to be a bit of a bore, which we'll see when we come on to the next video. So, but it managed to roll By the way, that little locking thing, you can actually unlock a dice, but why on earth would you unlock it when it's something you need? So it did it, but it got this timeline sickness. It's arrived, but we won't do anything next turn. So there's the end of the turn. We then click on the end of the turn, and then the next player has a go, which I'll do very quickly. And you can see that in over here, it's telling you what I'm doing, what the other player's doing. So I'm doing this all very quickly, so you don't have to worry about it. He just got hit with a return to base, which often can happen when you're time travelling. There we go. He arrived at GNC, and finally all agents done. Now then, so we've now got to we've done both agents, both players, so we now get to see what Kronos is up to. And there's a little summary here of the end of the round, which will happen very quickly because the computers work very quickly. So basically, we've got a little sort of summary of what the agents were doing and what the changes were in the turn, but we didn't score any Kairos because it's the very first turn, and the quantum AI god machine Kronos didn't do anything either because round one, Kronos doesn't do anything. But if you look at the end of the round, you will get to see what it's going to do. It doesn't do anything. When we do round two, you'll see a bit more information. And timeline started at -2, there's no change, it's -2, 14, 14. And then you can see where all the a bit of information if you're interested, and it gives you the locations, and there are 36 of them, and it shows you where they've got crystals, a bit about information and so on, and who's there. And then the portal changes if you're interested in that. So that's the end of round one.